Hello, stamping friends. This is Ginny from Celebrate the Journey, and it's Wednesday night. Let me put my computer on mute. There we go. I think that works. So we didn't need that echo going, I don't suppose. Except now I think there might not be any sound. Let me check. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. So I'm just not real sure that I have any sound. Okay, you guys can hear me. Hi Karen, hi Jamie. I was Zooming last night, so you change your settings on your phone for Zoom. So I didn't double check those things. So thanks, Robert, for letting me know. So tonight we're going to use Cottage Rose. I didn't want this stamp set when it came out in the new catalog because I thought, oh, you know, I've had pretty flowers before and whatever. Well, when they decided to use this for World Card Making Day, then I thought, well, I want to be able to make the cards that they're going to do on World Card Making Day. So I ordered it, and I am absolutely in love with it. It just makes such pretty cards, and they're so easy, and that's what's so great about it is the paper, the stamps, everything makes it nice and easy. So I like that, and I'm anxious to even do more. So I have absolutely lost the live video. So on my computer, so let me see if I can't get it back. There we go. I don't know what's going on. My brain. It's Wednesday. You know how that goes. So we're going to use the stamp. We're going to use the dies a little bit. And we're going to use the pretty paper. I wanted to show you some of the paper. The colors are just so, they're kind of vintage and rustic at the same time. And so you can color these flowers if you want. You could put a blending brush on them and color them up, or use your blends or watercolor. And so this one's pretty with the stripes and these tulip looking flowers. I've seen where people colored these and they came out really pretty. Let's see. This, which is the flowers similar to the stamp. So you could fussy cut that, color that, and fussy cut it and put it on a card front. And then this is just a very neutral. Let's see, another of the vintage color palette. This makes a great, just soft background. And this one actually matches one of the dies. Do you see how these, let's see, I'll put this paper down and I can show you. I haven't tried it, and I've seen where people did it, so I know it works. But I didn't understand it. So let's see if we put this on here somehow or another. Let's see. We'll try this one here. And it will line up and die cut all those. So you color these and then cut it out, and you can put it on your card front. Isn't that cool? So you have all these little leaves and flowers and everything that you don't have to fussy cut them. That one's pretty cool. I love this one because it's like ledger paper or school notes, or I've always liked that look. And let's see, I think I've shown you just about all of them. This is a pack and a half that I've gone through, so that's why it's all mixed up. had to go into my second pack. So we'll put these dies away until we get around to using them, because I don't want to lose them. And we'll put those to the side. So I've got 3 cards for you tonight. I'll try not to make it last too long. We'll see. So this is a class that you could get these 3 card kits in the mail with an order of $35 or more. So that, from now until next Wednesday, if you place an order for that amount of money, I will send you these 3 cards. Now, you might own this flower stamp and you might not, but you'll be able to make these cards with just about any floral stamp that you own. But I would suggest getting this one because it's so pretty. So let's get started. The first one we're going to do, these are all pretty simple, I will say. I was looking at this paper and I thought, well, my goodness, that is so stunning. It's going to look great to just use this paper and do a very simple card. So we'll just adhere this to our early espresso card base. Oh, I don't think any glue came out. There we go. You know, I love vertical card bases. I've always liked that. It's funny that other people would rather have the other fold, the side fold. But hey, we're all different, aren't we? Now I have a piece of crumb cake, and we're just going to do some like tone-on-tone stamping here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get, since we're doing the rustic look, we're going to get early espresso. So of course it's on the bottom of my stack. Now you could use, let's see, what's our other, gray granite might work well for this, or Sahara sand might also. But I have always been a crumb cake girl. So we're going to ink that up. Yeah, Jamie, you can use that die on the paper. It's so cool. I had been seeing those cards and I thought, how did they do that? And then I realized it was the die cutting the paper, because I couldn't figure out how they managed to stamp those flowers perfectly to match that die. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's the magic of die cutting, I guess. Now we're going to use watercolors today. So Jamie taught her stampers new coloring techniques today. Maybe they did some watercolor pencils. I'm not sure. We're going to use pencils. And I want to kind of bring out pinks on this one. You could really do this with blues. You could do like a fall-ish color, but we're going to do pink. So I'm going to start with Flirty Flamingo. Do you see these little, it's just the shading in the flower. So that's where we're going to put our pencil mark. And with watercolors, sometimes I tend to push a little harder and then softer. Depends on how much watercolor pencils, it's how much color you want to show up. That's the good thing, is you have, depending on your pressure, you have control over how brilliant your coloring is. It's also cool that you don't have to be a perfectionist when you're doing this. I'm going to take the melon mambo and just darken it kind of at the base of each flower. Give it some depth. Remember, we talked about, you know, where something is behind, the petal is behind the leaf, you're going to need to make it darker there, because that would be the shadow from the petal, not the leaf, but the petal of the flower, or the petal of the leaf. So you want it darker in those spots. And we'll just put a little yellow in the center of our flower. Now we have these blender pens, and in the catalog you get 3 in a package, so you can always have them kind of sorted by, are you using it on dark colors or light colors, or depending on, and of course you can mix and match, it doesn't matter, but if they get real grungy, then I use them only on browns or dark colors. So your students need watercolor pencils, baby wipes, and blending brushes. That's great. So many coloring techniques. Now this blender pen, I suppose it's some kind of water, maybe glycerin. I'm not real sure. It looks funny now on crumb cake, but once it dries, it's not going to look funny. So it's just blending the color and bringing it out on your flower. But it's because it's wet, it's making the crumb cake paper look weird. But once it dries, that won't look so weird. I was afraid at first, and I realized you don't notice it when it does that on white or very vanilla. And now we can, the other good thing is you can always go back now and add more color if you want. You can't take it away, but you can add more if you want some more. I think I'm going to put on that little fold of the petal, I'm going to put a little. So you'll be able to kind of play with your colors. And I don't think that's probably about it for this little pink flower. Oh no, right there it needs. Now once it's wet, you kind of want to let it go dry before you do a lot more coloring on it, because it will peel up your paper. So now I'm going to just do the leaves lightly with the Granny Apple Green. I'm not going to really worry about the shading. I just want it to have a hint of color. Just remember, this is going to be more of a tone-on-tone vintage look. Not going to worry about the stems. It's just, they're going to stay the way they are. And this is Pacific Point. We're going to do this, we decided it was Queen Anne's lace, but we're going to make it blue on this card. Let's do a little where we added that pink. We don't really need to worry about this green too much. It's kind of blended already. Now there's our our pretty little flower. I'm going to put some Wink of Stella on it. You know, I have to do that. It's part of my rules. But just a little. We're just going to put it kind of lightly where we watercolored, just to give it some sparkle. Yeah, I don't know that you can see that, but I can. So that's that for this part of the card. Now I want a sentiment, but I'm going to heat emboss it. So I pulled out another piece of the early espresso, and I'm going to use this stamp that's in the bundle. It's called Friends Forever, and we're going to heat emboss it with white, which actually kind of looks cream colored on here, which is kind of what we want. Use our embossing buddy, and then our Versamark. Hope that we don't mess this up, but we have extra just in case. That looks good. Don't need that anymore. Unless it doesn't look good when we heat emboss it. I pulled out my trusty coffee filters today. I like the pink on the crumb cake too, Jamie. I was afraid at first. I was just going to leave it. And then I thought, well, it just needs a little hint of color. Oh, that looks like it's going to heat emboss well. Let me put that there. And let's get the heat gun. This is when you can cover your ears. And that looks good. You really, something this small, it's kind of tricky to see the heat embossing, but it's always just so magical when it's a large image, isn't it? Now we're going to put a little bow on here. I got the cream colored baker's twine. That comes in our assorted pack of baker's twine. I think you get black and white and cream. And baker's twine is always easy to, it doesn't bulk up your cards, it doesn't make it hard to get them in the mail. So I like to do those. I want this around 3 times. 2, and we're going to tie a bow. We'll be able to slide it once we get it tied to where we want it on our banner. And then we can kind of push it down closer to the words. Make it a little bit smaller. Trim some of this off. I want a little bit hanging there, but not a whole lot. Okay, now we don't need quite this much here, so we're just going to snip that off. And then here, I think we'll just do this at an angle. Or we could mermaid tail, but I'm not very good at that. So, and we're going to layer this on a piece of early espresso. Give it a little frame. We're ready to put this on our card front. And I want it to stand up a little to give it some dimension. So I cut some strips of the foam adhesive. And so that little pencil blender pen wants to get in the way. Oh, that works just about right. We'll put a little piece in the middle so it won't sag. Actually, I think I'll kind of do here and here. I love these adhesive sheets. You know, I think you've heard me say it. There's other brands, and I've tried them. But what I like about the Stampin' Up! Ones is their thickness. There's some that are so thick that they make your cards look clunky. And these, that's just a very small lift, and it looks nice. Now we're going to put our banner on here, and we'll put it on with some dimensionals. Need to wipe the embossing buddy off there. And then we'll put a little embellishment on here. Gotta have some embellishments. This would be great for a teenage BFF, best friends forever. So since we used pink, I'm pulling out the in colors, and this is the polished pink. And we'll put that on. These are called opal rounds. They got a little blingy. They're like glitter inside the resin. I guess they're probably made out of resin or something similar. So there's our first card. Oh, we need the inside, of course. Since this is not white, I cut a small piece of very vanilla for the inside, and we'll just stamp this little flower in the corner, and then you'll be able to write your message on the inside to your BFF. You know, I'm the world's worst about not getting the insides done, and then I have to go back and do it, and you know, I don't like to do that either. So I'm trying to teach myself to go ahead and do the inside while I'm working on the card. Okay, there's our first one. Isn't that pretty? Just a little bit of bling on there, and then our little sparkles. Okay, that's our first one. We'll put it to the side. We'll bring it back for the encore later. And our second card, we're just going to still stick with some of the more subtle neutral colors here. And I had a bunch of small pieces of this left over, so I wanted to use it. And I call that pillow ticking, I think, is kind of what I would call it. And this is soft suede. We're going to put that on the inside. And this is that pretty paper that looks like the tulips with script in the background. And we're just going to kind of layer these. They might be cut equal, but we're going to make it be off by using this strip. So I think these are 2 inches. So we'll add that. So I can't wait to see what kinds of cards they show us on World Card Making Day with these, with the stamp, because it'll give me some more ideas to use it up and use that paper up. I hope, if they use that paper. So World Card Making Day is Saturday. I'll go back and post the link one more time at the top. You might not be able to watch it while it's live. And I don't know what time it is where you are. It's from 2 to 4, I think, where I am. But if you sign up for it, you'll get a link to the replay. So even if you can't watch it, you want to go ahead and sign up for it and get the link to the replay, because then you'll get the tutorials and the supply list. And today they told us there's going to be some surprises. Now that means to me there might be some door prizes or prize patrol, or I don't know. I don't know what the prize is. They're not telling us. They said we have to wait and see. So I don't want you to miss out on the surprise. Stuck myself to my paper here. So sign up for it, and you won't want to miss out on that. All right, now we've got to do a little stamping here. And I had a small piece of the shimmer white paper, the one that has the glitter in it. And so we're going to use that. This is going to be a sympathy card. I did pull the With Deepest Sympathy from, and this is the Painted Poppies set. And so we're going to stamp that with soft suede to go with the color of this paper. And we're going to punch it. I think I need to cut this off here. We have this new punch, handmade tag. It's kind of a scallopy, well, it could be a square if it's turned that way. You could punch it that way. I never really thought about it. And we're just going to stamp that. Punch that. Kind of try to figure. I'm letting the width be my center. Now this is kind of plain, and we don't want plain. So we've got this little stamp that has 3 little flowers on it. So we're going to just stamp them with Blushing Bride. You could use Petal Pink, I think, but we're going to use the Blushing Bride. And we're just going to kind of create a little more texture on our, do you see those sweet little flowers? Just makes it look nice. Now we need our ink out, so I'm not going to close it yet. Now I want to put it on a piece of vellum, but I want my vellum to be pink. We don't have pink vellum. I'm going to turn it on the back and use a blending brush. You wouldn't want to put it on the front because then it would smear on your card. And this won't, and I don't know how much it would smear, but at least this way we know it won't smear at all, because it's going to be on the inside up against our paper and it won't bleed on there. And it's not going to make it a real bright pink, just kind of a soft bridal pink. You see how that turns that paper? Now, I think, you know, if you still had some of that in color glimmer vellum left, go right ahead and use it. That might be a little too bright for this card, but it would work, I think. We'll put that to the side. And now our card's just about done here. We put this right about there. Of course, we want the ink on the inside. You see, it really makes, you can see it's pink now that it's on there. We'll put that on with a piece of tear and tape. This DSP is called Abigail Rose. It goes with the Cottage Rose Suite, but it's called Abigail Rose. So all the DSP I'm using tonight is Abigail. Thanks for asking. This is a piece of tear and tape left from it's not wanting to stick. It's from Paper Pumpkin, so I'm going to get the other, see if it might not want to stick because that ink is on there. We'll make it work. I think better trim that off just a little so it's not showing. Push it down real tight. Doesn't want to stick to that inky part. I'm about aggravated with this. It don't want to work at all, so guess what? We're going to use Tombow. I don't know why it's not wanting to stick because of that ink. That doesn't make much sense, but the Tombow will hold it. Now we'll put this on with some dimensionals. Since this is a sympathy card, we're not going to bling it up too much. We want it to be subtle. I think this is nice and simple. The next card's not quite so simple. Now we're just going to put a few little small pearls on here. They're not real blingy. They're kind of subtle. And then we have an inside to write your message. Put our pearls away. I think we're done with those tonight. Since this has the tulips, I'm not going to stamp a flower on here. Just going to leave it plain. And I might stamp a sentiment in there. But I didn't pull a sympathy sentiment, so I have to go back and do that. So there's our second card. These are looking really pretty. Our next card's much brighter and cheerier and happier. So we're going to go with some pretty colors today. Have you noticed this embossing folder? It's called Painted Posies. And you put the paper in there this direction so that the posies get embossed. And this is what you end up with. They are so deep. It's like super 3D embossing. And boy, I have another technique to show you with that next week. You're gonna have fun with it. So we're gonna layer this pool party on some soft sea foam. Oh, I forgot to get my ribbon out of the drawer. I can do that. We'll do our stamping first. Now this time we are going to use some of the framelets or thinlets, or the dies, whatever we want to call them. So I have another one of these shimmer paper, and this time we're going to stamp with Memento black. I suppose I could have used the brown, but I don't know. We're going to do black. We'll ink that up real good. And then we're going to do some of the leaves. I think we have enough to get to. We'll see. If not, I'll grab another piece. Looks like it, doesn't it? See if it'll fit on here on this one. Yeah. That way we'll be able to run the die through 2 at a time. And we're going to get our pencils out again. This time we're just going to use some of the blue and some green. And we're going to do it very similar to the way we did the crumb cake. Just lightly color to the center of our flower. Now, we don't have a pool party. Oh, maybe we do. We have Coastal Bermuda Bay and Coastal Cabana, but they're going to work fine with the pool party. And we're just going to do those lines again like we did before. Makes it quick. And what's pretty about this is the shimmer is in here too, because this is the shimmer paper. So it's really going to look nice and sparkly. I wish all paper had glimmer in it. So we haven't chatted. I don't think we've done anything today. We went grocery shopping, which is pretty scary these days, isn't it? and washed windows. That was an exciting day. Robert washed the windows, and I helped him put the screen up. That one time, so I didn't do much for him. And we'll put a little dark just to give it a variety of the Coastal Cabana. What's great about this is you're really learning how the watercolor pencils work, and then later on, if you want to learn advanced watercoloring, you'll be able to do that. We'll go ahead and put some yellow. We'll go ahead and add our green on our leaves. And this time I'm going to use the old olive. I want a little darker leaf this time. We might add some highlights of Granny Apple Green. Okay, are you going to get part of the storm, or I don't know that it's going to come your way, is it? It's pretty bad in Florida, I think. My niece is in the Honduras, and she said it had been monsoon raining for 12 hours straight, and she was tired of it. So I imagine you can't go out. You just look out the window and watch it rain. Even though we're going to, this is a little bit of coloring and a little bit of die cutting, it's still not a very elaborate card. You could do several of these at one time, and then do all the die cutting at one time. I'm just going to go over this with Granny Apple to blend some color. And then we'll get our blender pen out. My hands are going to be tired after this. Okay. Oh, I thought I'd put some pink on that. What we call that? Queen Anne's lace. Just to give it another color. I love the way the pencil just blends right in. I don't have to worry about being talented, because I'm not. Did you guys read the story about the 10-year-old that is an artist and he sells his paintings for $500,000? What 10-year-old? Oh my goodness. His mom said he's not a famous artist, he's a little boy and he still has homework. So I'm glad they're in touch with reality. But he won't be having any trouble paying for college if if he keeps it up. That was a nice positive story I read today. I wish I could sell my cards for $500,000. That might be about how much I've spent on supplies, do you think? No, I hope not. So let's put some pink up here. Alrighty, so now we're ready to get the dies out, and we'll just die cut this. Wonder where I put those dies. Here they are. I did put them in a safe place. So this will cut out the leaves. There's these dies that, oh, let's see if you can tell that they kind of will cut these flowers. So you could have them 3D, or you could just cut this and put another cut behind it, and it would be pink under the, and then this outlined. So there's other things you can do with those die cuts. And then this one will go on here. So we'll run this through the cut and emboss machine. I got my new plates on today. I thought it wasn't cutting as good with a worn out plate. Plates do wear out after 5 or 6 months, I guess. Depends on how much you use them. If you ever have one crack, it's like a gunshot going off in the house. I think on my old Big Shot, I had that happen once. It was very loud. Now, we'll cut out this one. Pretty. It's going to look so nice on our pool party. Now let me go get my ribbon because I want to put that on there before we put the card together. This I cleaned up and threw it back in the ribbon drawer. So we'll just put our piece around here with a glue dot. If you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, you never need to buy glue dots again because you'll always have enough. At least it seems that way. They are very generous. And I think the Christmas ones that are coming in the next 2 months are going to be really cute. So if you're feeling stressed about getting Christmas cards done, you could at least get a few from Paper Pumpkin. Now this is a very vanilla, thick, very vanilla card base. So we don't have to put anything on the inside because it's already where we can write our message or stamp our message. And we'll put our little pretty flower on here with dimensionals. I can put one more right about there. How pretty, you can even see the sparkle on the back. Now these we're going to put we'll put them on with Tombow and slide them behind. They can even peek up a little like leaves would do. I have to lift that up a little. There we go. Don't want it to hang off the card. We need a sentiment. We're going to put happy birthday on here with the hopes that we stamp fairly straight. That's also part of this bundle. So you've got lots of sentiments. You've got happy birthday, best friends forever, feel better soon, best wishes, you are positively amazing. So lots of nice, good sentiments. No telling if that, oh my goodness, that's straight. Yay. And we'll snip this. I wanted it to have a little bit of a border, so I just cut an extra little white. This is a ½ inch, and so that's a little wider. Just so it doesn't get lost on the front of the card. We'll snip that off. We're going to snug this kind of under here so you won't see that raw edge. Snuggle it under there. I did not add any bling to this, but wouldn't some soft green look pretty, or some of those iridescent rhinestones? Any of those would be fine. I think we need a little more Winkostella, and it's going to blend some of those pencil marks. All right, we got 3 cards. Now remember, you have a week if you want these cards in the mail. These card kits, you have until next Wednesday. if you place an order for $35 or more. And I will send you all the pieces to make these cards. And don't forget to sign up for World Card Making Day. You don't want to miss whatever surprises they have for us. You don't want to miss them. I don't think. I don't want to miss it. So there's our 3 cards. One more thing before you say goodbye is I'm trying to get more subscribers to my YouTube channel. So if you don't mind, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. You don't ever have to go back and watch it, but if you'll subscribe, I'd appreciate it. But then you also, if you ever want to go back and watch a video again, it'll be there for you, and you won't have to look for my Facebook page. So thanks for joining me tonight. I will see you next time. Bye.